Hello everyone, how are you? Yeah, today we have another topic. Today's topic is about book writing and especially the size of the book, because that is one of the most frequently asked questions all people when they want to write a book. How many pages should the book have? Should I write a book with 50 pages? Should I write a book with 100 pages, 150, 200? What is the minimum and what is the maximum? What is the preferable size of the book? Even that is the question I used to have when I want to write a book at the beginning. What is the size of the book? How big? Thick like this way? Tiny? It's very confusing sometimes because there is no clear cut, like this is the size of the book you must have. But there are certain regulations. If you want to do through self-publishing, maybe through Amazon, they might have their own minimum number of pages. So welcome to the EBM Scholars Show, and this is Ernest Boniface Makulilo. Today we are talking about the size of the book. How many pages should you write in order to say I have the book? In order to do that, I'll be so happy to give some of the examples of various books which I know. Some are the best sellers, some are the most famous books we know, and how do they do? How many pages did they write? So I'll have like more than 6-7 examples of different books, and some are my books. So, and then I will explain why I wrote books on maybe one book, maybe this number of pages, versus the other books with number of pages. So that I think will be able to make sure that you understand when we mean the size of the book. So let's start with the one among the famous book. This is Hillary's book, The Living History of Hillary Clinton book. How many pages? You see how thick this book is. It is no joke. It is a very big book. This book has 562 pages, this book. So it's up to you. Do you want to write it a book bigger like this one, or do you want to write like George Bush Jr. book, The Decision Points? This is also a very big book. It is 497 pages. So it's no joke. It is very, very big book. So I read this one, all of it. I haven't read The Living History of Hillary. Or a friend of mine, Yeriko Nyerere, wrote the book Ujasusi wa Kidola na Kiuchumi. This is also a very big book. It has 714 pages. And at the back here, I wrote endorsement of this particular book after reading it. Yeah, so it is a very big book. So do you want to write a bigger book like Yeriko Nyerere book, 714 pages, or 497 of George Bush Decision Points, or Hillary Living History? So these are some of the big books, but let's see some of other books. I have written 10 books, and they vary from one book to another book. The book sizes, they vary. So A Loving Father, this is 178 pages. You see how big it is. It's not too big, it is not too small. And I will explain why my books are, most of them, they don't exceed 200 pages. I will explain my preference. Maybe you might like this one, or you might like to write these big books. I will give the advantages and the disadvantages of both books. This is a True Memoirs of the Scholarship Guy. It's also my book. It has 180 pages book. Then I have Claire Francisca, The Happiest Girl on Earth. This book has 104 pages. I have also like another book is just exactly 100 pages. It Was Not Russia. Then I have a tiny book, Albino Killings in Tanzania, Witchcraft and Racism. This one, it is 40 pages. So it's a very tiny book. You can see just how small it is. So it's a tiny book. Then I have Letters to EBM, Letters to Ernest Boniface Makulilo. It's the self-letters, the letters I've been writing to myself. So it's also a tiny book. It has 49 pages. And then I have also another tiny book, which is Letters to My Unborn Daughter, Faustina Marie, my daughter. Before she was born, I started writing some letters, and I produced this book on May 19th when my daughter was born. So it has 44 pages. And then let's talk about these two famous books. These are the best sellers book from, is the bestseller. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She has two books. One book is We Should All Be Feminists. It has 52 pages. See the size of the book. It's not like too big. If you can compare with all these size of book, it is just like short. Like it's a very tiny book. You can put in the pocket of the jeans. You see, if you compare the size, I want to see, like you see how tiny it is, like this one. So this one is just like 52 pages. This is 714 pages. How many books of this one there will be in this big one? So, and then she has this one, Chimamanda Dia Achidie, Dia Ijemela, is just Feminist Manifesto. Dia Ijewele is just a book. Oh, sorry about the is not Ijewele. It's just a Nigerian name. I'm so sorry for that. So Chimamanda made another book. This is also, both these books are bestseller. They are bestseller in the New York. So they are not easy book. They are very, very famous books. But this one is just having 63 pages. This one is having just 52 pages. But you see, the size of the book is just a very tiny one. So if you are going to write into Microsoft Words, these books is just like 10 pages or 15 pages of A4 when you are typing. So what is the point of showing you all these books? Like a tiny book like this one, a tiny book like this one, and then there is a medium like this one, or the big one like this one. Why do I show all these kind of books? My point is very simple, that we don't have a uniform that a book must have 300 pages, or the book must have 500 pages, or the book must have 100 pages. It, in the end, is your preference. What is your story? What do you want to convey? But if you are writing a book, you have to think of so many things. Is your book textbook? Or is your book just a novel, a memoir, something someone wants to read for leisure? You can see here, I have so many books here. If you see like LSAT exam, GRE exams, the Photoshop, web design, these are bigger books because they are kind of textbook or academic books in general. So it's the books for examinations. So these are bigger books because they are in that way, that category. But if you see some of the novels or some of the leisure books, they're not that too big. Yes, this is also a leisure book, like George Bush Decision Points is also kind of like a memoir, but it's a big book because George Bush has a bigger history compared to my history will be 120, 150, 200 pages, but George Bush needs at least 500. Even that is a small book for him. But what do you need to consider if you want to write a book? The size of the book. For me, if you are writing a book, the bigger thing to consider is the type of the book. If it's an academic book, it can be bigger wherever you want, because someone has to read a series, has to sit on the table, has to sit on the library, has to sit somewhere to read that book. But another thing is, if you are writing a leisure book, for instance, A Loving Father, I want someone to sit on the coach, someone to sit on the plane, someone to sit on the, what is in the bus, just sit and read the book. So I'm not going to write a bigger book like this one, in my opinion, like this one. If you are traveling, why do you need to carry this one? Not many people will be having convenience of how many pounds of this one. They haven't put the weight, but this one is a bigger book. Like, what is the weight? How many books do you want to have if you are going for vacation? If you want to read 2 books, these 2 books you carry into the plane is at least, 1 or 2 kilograms. So these are difficult, but you can carry. You can go with these 2 books, maybe plus this one. So you can take 2 or 3 books for vacation and be able to read. So you have to consider what kind of books, what kind of audience, what do you want your audience to do? Do you want the audience to put the book into the pocket, into the purse? Or do you want someone to sit on the table seriously and read? So all this is just up to you. I'm not saying to have shorter books or smaller books is advantageous or is the best way, or to have bigger books is advantageous. No, I'm not saying that. It's up to you to make that call. But my preference, my books the books someone has to read on the leisure. My books, I want someone to read on the plane. I want someone who is in the bus. I want someone to read at home, relaxing on the couch. I don't want to have someone having a very heavy book like this one going to the plane, because I don't want someone to add weight into traveling, because I'm doing a lot of international travel. I travel 3 to 5 times in a year. So I don't want to have more weight for someone to travel. So that is the reason. And for instance, if you take this book as audiobook, is so many hours, at least 7-8 hours to have audiobook of this one. But if you have like this one, might be 3-4 hours. So I'm considering all those factors. Why do my book size are that kind? I need to have a little bit lighter books. So my preference, most of the books, I don't want to exceed 200 pages. If it goes too much books, too many pages, at least 250, maximum 300. I don't want to be extra 500 pages, 700. That is not my preference. I don't know if sometimes that one will happen. If it will happen, we'll see. But at the moment, I don't have to have those kind of books. Chimamanda did this book just less than 60 pages, but it still is a shorter book. So if you put into A4, this is just like 10-15 pages book. So you can write whatever you want as long as you have a message. That's why this is just like just kind of like a letter, a suggestion letter, because Chimamanda was asked by the relative, "Oh, I have a newborn girl. What message can you help me to raise this child?" So she wrote like a manifesto, like this is how you can raise it. Teach your child to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this one, which is not different from these kind of books, which are just letters. This is my message to my child. You are born today. What are you getting into in this world? So you can just write a smaller book or write a bigger books. So it's up to you, but consider all those factors. But now Amazon, if we are doing self-publishing, I think they have limitation. The minimum number of pages is supposed to be at least 40 for now. But if you go to any publisher, it depends on your content. It depends on your audience. What do you want to do? So there is no a clear cut like this is what you have to do. So don't be trapped. You have to write even the things which don't make sense, because you have to have many pages. Write what you want to write in the message wise. So don't just fill the pages because I want to have 500 pages. If your content is 150, put 150. If your content and what you want to convey is 50 pages, just do 50 pages. That's what I want to share on this video. Just how many number of pages, or what is the size of the book? Is it supposed to be a bigger book, or is it supposed just to be a minimum small book, or whatever you want to do? Do you want to have Hillary Clinton's size? Do you want to have George Bush's size, or Yoriko Nyerere Ujasusi's book size, 700 pages? What do you want to have? Do you want to have like this tiny book like this one, or tiny book like this one, or the medium size of this kind? So the answer is yours, what you wanted to do. I cannot do that decision for you. But as I said, if you are doing the self-publishing with Amazon, Amazon prefers, at least I'm not so sure, I have to go and check the requirement, but I think the minimum number of pages in Amazon is 40 pages. So if you write in A4, 40 pages is just like 10 pages, 12 pages, whatever. It's just not a lot, because it's just like A4, but if you put into size of the book, it's just a little bit condensed. So that will be good. I think I've answered some of your question. How many pages can you write, or is appropriate to write a book? So put down in the comments here, what number of pages do you have in your book? Let's have the discussion. And are you comfortable with the size of the book you have written? Or what kind of book do you want to write? Do you have the message and everything? Just put on the comment. But remember, on here, you can subscribe by clicking here. You can be able to subscribe to this channel and share this video to your friends, so that they can be able to also to write and publish their books, because that is the way to go. Write your book, self-publish, free of charge, and put your book on Amazon. So thank you everyone, and I wish you all the best into the writing world. And if you have any question about self-publishing, or you have a problem into writing a book, let me know. I'll be happy to answer your questions.